Good morning, Healthpreneurs. How's it going? Hope you're doing great. Hope you had a great Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, hope you had a great time. And hopefully you're geared up and ready for an amazing 2020. I'm really excited because in about 4 days, the family and I are leaving for Australia. We are out there. We're spending 2.5 months. We're going to be in Melbourne and Noosa and really just running an experiment. We're like, hey, do we want to do more of this? Because we have 4 kids and it's going to be an interesting test, homeschooling them, being with them 24/7 pretty much. Obviously, you love your kids, but there's a time where you got to have some distance, right? That's why they're in school here, and it's nice because we have 6 hours a day without them. But now we're going to be with them all the time. So it's going to be a really, really cool experiment to see if that's something we want to continue doing, because as much as we love traveling, if it just drains us, then who knows? But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really good. Yeah, so I'm really pumped about that. Plus, we don't have to endure the winter, and that's probably why we're doing this. And in previous episodes, I've talked about there's 2 types of people: those who complain about their circumstances and those who do something about it. And I chose to not that I complain about the winter, because I just say listen, it is what it is, and if I can break it up with a couple trips here and there, that's awesome. But this year we said, look, why don't we let's just get out of here, right? We don't need to be here. The kids don't need to be in school. They'll learn more by being homeschooled in an hour a day than they will sitting in class for 6 hours and still having homework on top of that. So yeah, I'm really pumped about that. And we're doing some really great things in the business that I'm really excited about for 2020. And our clients are doing some pretty amazing stuff too. So it's going to be a really exciting year. Anyways, today I want to talk about something one of our clients brought up actually like a month ago around Thanksgiving. And she had mentioned something along the lines of, hey guys, I was talking to my marketing team and they said that Thanksgiving is a great time of year, so we should up our ad budget and take advantage of this time of the season. And I said, okay, well, that's great. And it was very interesting to hear a lot of other clients' responses to that. Like, thanks so much for the advice. I'm gonna adjust and all this stuff. I'm like, hold on. Let's bring it back a moment. Number one, be very careful who you take advice from, right? Like, no disrespect to our client, but unless that's a proven recommendation, you got to be a little bit careful, right? So I interjected by saying that may be true, but when else is a great time? 365 days of the year is a great time to scale your ads. 365 days in the year is a great time to scale your ads. That was my response, because it doesn't matter. It's like, we're not selling widgets. We don't have e-commerce businesses. We're not selling widgets. We're not doing flash sales and Black Friday promotions and stuff like that. It's just running that type of business is very different. And in a coaching program, you're not going to run a 50% discount on your coaching program for Black Friday or for Christmas or for New Year's. It doesn't make sense. And if you are, please don't. You're massively discounting your value, and it's not a good way to run your business. So the other thing to remember is usually during the holiday season, here's what you'll notice if you're running ads, is they're going to become more expensive. And why is that? Well, because everyone has that perspective that my client had mentioned. Hey, now's a great time to capitalize on all the whatever. Let's start running ads, or let's scale. So everyone starts running ads during the holidays, which means there's more competition, which raises prices. And I think that's a rookie mistake that most people are not even aware of. They're like, hey, let's just jump on the bandwagon of the holidays. It could be Halloween, it could be Thanksgiving, it could be whatever. And they're like, yeah, here's what everyone else is doing. Let's do it as well. And your ad costs are going to go up. Your cost per acquisition is going to go up. And maybe not the best strategy. That's why I say, listen, the middle of February is an amazing time to scale your ads. The third week of June is an amazing time to scale your ads. The first week of August is an amazing, it doesn't matter at what point of year we're talking about. Any time is an amazing time to scale your ads if they're performing well. Don't wait for the holidays, right? Because again, as I mentioned, they'll be more expensive. On the flip side, I do want to say one thing is that some people have the belief that things slow down during the holidays. And this is so funny because, again, this is it's amazing what the human mind does, right? So you have one perspective, which is hey, let's scale our ads during the holidays because everyone's buying, right? And then the other side was saying, oh, should I stop my ads because people are taking a day off for Thanksgiving and therefore not checking their phones or their computers or whatever? I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Guy, there are 2.4 billion people on Facebook. And if we just look at the US alone, it's like 330 million people population wise, right? Not everyone is using a phone or on Facebook, but let's just assume like 200 million are, right? So 200 million people in the US of A. And I'm not even talking about Canada or anything else, just in the US. Let's say 200 million people are actively using Facebook. Now, by saying we should stop our ads because the holidays and no one is paying attention to this stuff, like everyone is off the grid, that would be like saying 200 million people have basically just stopped doing what they normally do every single day. And I want you to think about this. When you're sitting down for Thanksgiving dinner or you're around with your family, is your phone powered off? Is it tucked away in a drawer? Or do you have it in your hands or your pocket all day long? Like, listen, if you're a human being like most of us, I promise you either yourself or people in the room are checking their phones even during family gatherings. Okay, that's the reality. So what happens when they're checking their phones during these family gatherings? They're going to see your ads. They're going to see other people's ads. They're going to see random organic posts. Now, are they going to take action on what they see? Maybe, maybe not, right? And that's with the assumption that there's a family gathering going on for 200 million people. But let's just assume that not everyone celebrates Thanksgiving, right? Let's assume that there's some other cultures and religions involved. So let's just kind of cut that into 50 million people who are not celebrating Thanksgiving. So you have 50 million people who couldn't care about Thanksgiving. So they do their thing as they normally do. And maybe they have the day off work because everyone else is celebrating Thanksgiving. So they're at home or they're hanging around their computer and they're checking their phone. And because they're just chilling, they've got more time on their hands. And they see your ad, they click on it, they watch your webinar, and then boom, they book a call with you, right? So that is very possible. And it's funny because even as of this morning, we just had 3 new calls booked this morning. And as I'm recording this, it's like, the holidays. And that's just proof that people still do things during the holidays. Because the reality is that people, like, not everyone, and here's the thing is we have to move away from stereotypes and generalizations. The generalizations that everyone is off, right? Like everyone's turned their phone off. Like we know that our phones are addictive, right? I know my phone is addictive. I know Facebook is addictive. I know Instagram is addictive. And to think that for one day, somehow we're going to switch that off, like we're like addicted. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Turn it off. I'm good now. And then I'll go back to my normal programming as normal afterwards is kind of ridiculous, right? It's like we're these amazingly addictive humans, except for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or whatever, because now it's the holidays. So now we can control our impulses and we're no longer addicted to this stuff. And therefore we're not going to respond to social advertising. It's kind of weird. So I really want to encourage you not to fall into what I call group think, which is doing what everyone else is doing or doing what everyone else says you should do, especially if they don't have the results to back it up, right? I heard so-and-so say this, therefore we should do it. That's terrible advice, right? So again, the idea is every single day of the year is an amazing day to scale, assuming you have a positive ROI on your ads. And not everyone is celebrating every holiday. So you could play to the holiday season if you want. I mean, you can craft an ad that's a little bit more time sensitive. But again, I wouldn't be offering discounts, right? I wouldn't be offering discounts. What I would do is I would put messaging out that reflects the time of year. So for instance, maybe from Thanksgiving through to New Year, if you're dealing with people, obviously within a health or fitness context, like the messaging might be around, holiday weight gain. And you might share a story of you or a client who went through this time of year and, or the famous tale of two people, right? Like the famous New York Times ad that was one of the most high-performing copies of all time. I'm not going to rehash the ad here, but it's essentially, meets like here's so-and-so, here's so-and-so. They both went to school together. They both went the same track. And then this guy became a manager. This guy became an employee. What was the difference? Well, this guy read the New York Times. This guy didn't, right? And like that's a really famous and simple framework for showing the dichotomy of what can happen based on decisions. So you could run something like that during the holidays to say, hey, meet Jay and meet Deborah. Went to the same school, same thing, both have kids, both have jobs, but one was busy during the holidays, the other was busy during the holidays, but came January 1st, the difference was that Jane lost 10 pounds while Deborah gained 15. What was the difference? Jane decided to, be proactive and Deborah waited for things to get worse. Something as simple as that, right? So that is something that I would rather see happen during specific holiday times where you could tap into the zeitgeist or the thinking of people during that time of year. But I would not run like a Black Friday or a Christmas special for your coaching program. I wouldn't do any of that stuff, because the reality is that the urgency for people to act is going to come from the problem, not from a discount. And I want you to think about that for a second, okay? Again, we're not selling low ticket garbage. We're not selling widgets on Amazon. We're selling high-end coaching programs that you are heavily involved in. You shouldn't be discounting your time. You shouldn't be discounting the value in any way, shape, or form. Now, it depends, like, again, if you're selling something at a different level. So for instance, right now, I'll actually just do a shameless plug for our Healthpreneur Live events. Right now, Healthpreneur Live 2020 is taking place September 25th to 27th. I don't know why I said right now, but it's taking place September 25th to 27th in Scottsdale. It's going to be off the wall. It's going to be our best event. Every year has been better. If you want to learn more about it, go to healthpreneurgroup.com/live. And so here's why you want to do that. If you're not a current client, here's what you're going to do. Go to that page, learn more about the event. You'll just see all the ridiculous awesomeness that happened over the past 3 years. And when you grab your spot now, before January 31st, it's only $497 instead of $997. So it's about 50% off, and that expires January 31st. Okay, so you're thinking to yourself, all right, Yuri, well, you just told me not to discount my stuff. Why would you be doing this? Here's the thing. Healthpreneur Live is not our main coaching program. Okay? It's an event that I'm willing to go in the hole a little bit on the front end, because I understand, the value of that event for our business over time. So that is the only reason that I would offer a discount for this event. And again, we've actually never offered it at $497. It used to be a lot more expensive, and we realized, you know what? Let's just make it a little bit more inclusive, a little bit more accessible for more people. This year's event is limited to 250 people. 75% of them will be clients. And we've opened up 25% of the spots to the general public, obviously, who are health and fitness experts with an established business who want to take things to the next level. So if that's you, go to healthpreneurgroup.com/live. Yeah. So in that sense, kind of using any specific time frame, like we're saying January 31st is the cutoff for that pricing, is fine. But if I wanted to run something like that specifically during the holidays, I could. But for the most part, you're offering your coaching program as the main thing you're getting people into, but I wouldn't discount that. I mean, it's just not worth it. Okay. So just again, a quick recap. You don't need to wait for specific times of the year to scale your ads or stop your ads. Every day is an amazing time to be running them, especially if you're ROI positive. You want to be scaling as fast and as aggressively as possible if you're ROI positive. All right. There's no reason to play it safe and kind of tinker along, because over time, ads will only become more expensive. I promise you, in 5 years, the cost of advertising is going to be more expensive, because 5 years ago, it was a lot less expensive. And 20 years from now, it will be even more expensive. So when you find something that works, scale it as fast as you humanly can to get as much in now at the lowest possible price compared to down the road. Make sense? So that's all for today. So final call to action, go to healthpreneurgroup.com/live. Check out the events, grab your spot, 50% discount, which ends in about a month. So do it. It's just go to the page and look at the event. It's phenomenal. And hopefully you can join us. All right. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll speak to you very soon.